Hi guys, here I am. This is me for real this time. I'm not fooling you, I promise. I mean, assuming that you think that I'm me, then I am me. Look, I don't make up the rules, I just make up the rules. Did a little bit of work on this over the past couple nights, so I feel like I'm making some pretty decent progress. I can mostly do fun stuff today. A little bit less tedious stuff. Right now I'm working on, I believe this is the witch's hut. If I had to bet my life on it, that's what I would bet. And I do. I'm pretty sure I do have to bet my life on it. Oh my. The witch pretty much lives in a tree, as many witches do. Here it is, slightly obfuscated by a power-up icon, but you can see it's pretty much a tree-ish looking thing. It's got little roots, dark red roof. Let's paint it dark red right now, shall we? Right around there. We want only color. There was really no reason to undo that. Mask. It was actually good to have that mask on. Something about having things masked just makes me feel like it's a step that I have to complete, and so my muscle memory is like, okay, turn that mask off. It seems to be segmented into 4-ish planes on top. Some kind of funny little, like, compass rose looking thing on top. This thing at this distance, it looks like one of those, like if you buy a little can of Play-Doh and it's got the, sculptures that, kids have done. Probably not really done by kids, but that's what this reminds me of. Don't worry, when you're backed out and you're seeing it like that big, that's the view distance that most people are going to see. I'm actually going quite a bit overboard on the detail. Why? I like Zelda. What can I say? I'm also purposefully imposing a limit on myself onto how much I'm letting my kind of neurotic need to detail everything. Because otherwise, this map could end up taking me, like, I don't know, as long as it took the developers to actually make it back in 1993 or whenever they made it. And that is not an option. Not an option.
I forgot to show you these. They're Disney eyes. They're googly, but they move inside.
Wow.
They're on sale, like half off.
That's cool.
Shane's not doing Disney. Commission. Oversee.
Alright, and as I was complaining about last time, I have this conundrum where the mini-map is super low and abstracted, but some of the details in the print that I got are referencing this much higher res, the actual game world map, and so I'm kind of doing a little bit of both. One thing, I'm looking at the, let's see, will Zbrush let me do this? It will not let me resize the window. Amazing. Can I do it this way?
Amazing.
So amazing.
What a big surprise.
Like, it does left and right arrow at the bottom, and it does up and down arrow at the side, and neither of those are what I'm trying to do. Can I do it from this side? Nope. Wow, ZBrush. Tell you what, minimize. Okay, so this little temple here at the base of the mountains is like that big-ish. In the actual game world, it's that big-ish, so it's actually pretty proportional. But in the base mesh that Jeff sent me, it is way bigger than both of those would lead you to believe. So I'm thinking of just shrinking the whole thing down. I think that won't be too hard. Let's find out. I'll just mask it off. Oh, not like that. I just mask it off. Doot, doot, doot. And then let's Nice part. Oh, and of course that ended up getting some of that back. Okay. We can do this. Yes. Yes. Okay. Invert the mask. Then want to get this gizmo right in the middle. Actually, not right in the middle. I want to get it at ground level. Come to think of it, it's going to be hard to do with all this other stuff in the way. First, there was a. I don't think there's a wireframe. Like, I can make stuff ghosted if I'm on a different subtool. Let me unsolo it. Right. So I could have it ghosted there, but then my gizmo is not going to be. It's going to be for this thing, not the thing I need to move the gizmo on. So when I go to this. Oh, one thing I need to do is turn off perspective. Yeah, that does not help me find the baseline of this house. Alright, I'm just gonna have to do it live.
What is this?
That is my old phone. Let me change this to mask pin. There's definitely gonna have to be a bit of cleanup around the edges of this after I do this little procedure. So, if I just shrink it down. One of the reasons I really don't like it as big as it was is it makes Death Mountain seem like puny. Death Mountain should seem big and imposing. Nestled up in those trees. And the back is still against the wall. Flush with the ground-ish. Okay, let's look at... Okay, yeah, it's just up against the wall. And of course, in the real game, you can't see the back of it, and then when you go on the mountain, it's just not there at all. But it looks like it's pretty much flanked with trees on each side, so that should be pretty easy to cover up whatever silliness results from the scaling. Right, ZBrush wants me to minimize and maximize it before I can actually adjust it. Hi Letha, hi Damon. Going to bed. That's not nearly as fun as watching me sculpt Link to the Past, is it? Well, thanks for stopping by and saying hi anyway.
Aletha? What?
Damon. Aletha's here too.
Oh, I was like, wait.
Damon said he's going to bed.
Oh, nice.
He's a coward. It's pretty perfect. Except for being stretched all to Hades. Melissa Kramer, thanks for subscribing. I assume over on YouTube. Yes, on YouTube. Thanks for that, Melissa. Hope you see this video someday. And also, come on over to Twitch so you can see it live. Alright, I think I've got to Aletha says hi, by the way.
Hi. By the way, back. Hi, by the way.
Aletha, people are not subscribing here to my YouTube, but my Streamlabs OBS is linked to my YouTube account, so the notification gets piped through here whenever I'm live. Yeah, I was misled by that notification for the first couple weeks I was on Twitch. I thought I was getting all these Twitch subscriptions, which is a very different thing than YouTube subscriptions, since people actually pay money for Twitch subscriptions. And I was like, whoa, this is so great. Okay, I'm just gonna have to redynamish this thing. Let's save, shall we? African Diva 5. Hello. Hey, welcome. Haven't seen you run these parts. What's your deal? Tell me all about yourself. I like to know people. Yeah, Aletha, I was slightly disappointed, but on the other hand, you know, whatever. African Diva 5 is Michaela, a former guest on the stream. Which reminds me, I need to give you 1,000 hearts. Let's see if I can remember how to do that. Is it through Streamlabs? I think I have to go to the Streamlabs website. Log in. Okay, logging in. Let's see, looks like my Dynamesh worked. Hooray. Michelle, are you going to now compete with Aletha for the most points? Twitch extensions, overlays, and loyalty, point setting, no, manage users. For some reason, I'm not finding you. That's annoying. Make sure I'm spelling it right. Oh, there you are. Huh. Alright. You now have 1,001 points. African Diva, congratulations. You can't let Aletha win. Think about it. You don't want to live in a world where Aletha has won. Instead, you want to spend all of the hard-earned cash that you should be spending on your health care on Twitch. Having a functioning body is overrated. Just ask Heather. She doesn't want one. Right, hon? Oh. Squashing two parts of a mesh together in ZBrush doesn't work very well. Let's fix up our color mess here. Darn castle's getting in the way. You're out of here, Mr. Castle. Oh, hold on. Took Humira Sunday night.
So you just got done being.
Yeah. And now I feel like I might be getting sick. Awesome. I usually don't get sick. I get sick about once a year, and it lasts just around 24 hours. And I just did it a week and a half ago. I shouldn't have to do it again. However, Humira lowers your immunity?
Yep.
Is that what it lowers?
I don't know if you're supposed to wait a week before you're...
I think it's kind of play it by ear. Just in general, it lowers it, so try to stay away from times when you're sick or could get sick. Just like, well, isn't that most of your life? What are these trees here? Can I grab these here trees? I can. I can grab these trees. But it's awfully hard to see how they're going into the ground. Why is it? Oh, because transparent was turned on. Okay, so that covers up most of the skewered, messed up parts to the side. Very good. Not that button. This button. Oh, I did see those super cute pics of King Pumpkin. Yes, indeed. Pumpkin seemed incredibly enthusiastic about dressing as a king. What brought that about? Was that a photo shoot for a book jacket or something? Or you just wanted to torment your cat? Because both seem likely to me. Probably shouldn't be wasting my time painting here, since I'm gonna have to do the whole... I'm gonna have to paint over the whole thing again anyway, probably. Just looks so gross and sloppy. Pumpkin likes photo shoots? Huh. He's always disappointed when the photo shoot is over. I just happened across the costume while buying mice for the snake at Petco. Huh. He really didn't mind having that crown on his head? I find that a little shocking. Still torn about whether or not I should be doing these paths, because the paths don't show up. They're not in most of the in the mini map, but in most cases there's no reason not to do them, and otherwise it just leaves like these big weird blank green areas. The other cats on the other paw hate costumes, so I don't bother trying to get them to wear them. Oh, okay. So Pumpkin is the diva of the family? guess it gets tricky to do the path when it like goes by these really narrow areas. I could always just kind of do them gently. Your friend Heidi, her cat Bruce won't let her put a unicorn horn on him, so she's sending it to me for Pumpkin. Oh wow, a unicat, huh? Alright, I don't want to think about this for a little while, so I'm going to do some mindless rock blobs. Just kind of roughing in the rocky area. This is definitely not the final look that it's going to have. Just kind of a base coat. Alright, I'm going to have to take technical timeout. This is going to be an epic nose blow, so I'm not going to do it on screen. Back. Feel 80% less snotty now. Told Michaela that you're hoarding hearts, and she says, well, aren't you useless? Hey, hearts are going to be the most valuable commodity as soon as the apocalypse happens and I become the evil overlord of the planet. So tell her that. Then she'll regret her words. No, it fell down. Just gotta keep that Triforce held up. If he doesn't do it, no one will. Tell Michaela to keep the stream up on her computer, even if she's not watching it. I need to get my numbers up. Just don't tell Twitch corporate. Don't tell the Twitch snitches that my numbers are falsely inflated by friends and relatives turning on the stream and walking away because I'm too boring. Twitch snitches get stitches. That's good. Thank you, Nanomania. Yeah. Oh yeah, you know what we haven't done lately? It's our cognitive bias of the week. Alright, what do we got? Need to act fast. Simple looking options. Bike shed, rhyme is reason, belief bias. Did we do information bias? I think we did. And ambiguity bias. Let's do that one.
Why can't you change the shape of this thing?
Is the shape too ambiguous? The ambiguity effect is a cognitive bias where decision making is affected by a lack of information or ambiguity. The effect implies that people tend to select options for which the probability of a favorable outcome is known over the option for which the probability of a favorable outcome is unknown. The effect was first described by Daniel Ellsberg in 1961. Examples. When buying a house, many people choose a fixed rate mortgage where the interest rate is set in stone over a variable mortgage where the interest rate fluctuates with the market. This is the case even though a variable rate mortgage has statistically been shown to save money. Has it now? As an example, consider a bucket containing 30 balls. The balls are either red, black, or white. 10 of the balls are red, and the remaining 20 are either black or white, with all combinations of the black and white being equally likely. In option X, drawing a red ball wins a person $100. Wow, this is getting really complicated. In option Y, drawing a black ball wins them $100. The probability of picking a winning ball is the same for both X and Y. In option X, the probability of selecting winning... Oh my... Just... Without a picture, no one's going to be able to understand this. Cool. I mean, this certainly happens to me. A more realistic example might be the way people invest money. A risk-averse investor might tend to put their money into safe investments, such as government bonds and bank deposits, as opposed to more volatile investments such as stocks and funds. Even though the stock market is likely to provide a significantly higher return over time, the investor might prefer the safe investment. Oddball. It is human to avoid ambiguous knowledge, to assume things are knowable when they are not. This is related to the clustering illusion. When presented with large amounts of confounding variables, people still tend to claim knowledge of the unknowable. This produces cognitive dissonance, which, when avoided, leads people to try to change venues to something with more certainty. Alright. So yeah, I mean, so in a sense, that bias is something that keeps me doing something that I know. So this happens in Zbrush all the time. Like, I could do something faster in another module if I took the time to sit down with a couple ZBrush tutorials and learned it and baked it into my muscle memory. I'd probably save time in the long run. But if I do it the slow, obnoxious way, I don't have to go through all that learning, and I know I could just get it done. So that is probably a case of that bias manifesting. For me, I definitely resonate with the investing thing. Like, I am totally risk averse in many ways. I was listening to a podcast, I think it was today, with an author who is writing about various, what are they categorized as? Not geniuses, innovators, like people in Silicon Valley or in the arts or wherever who do new innovative things. One of the surprising findings that they learned from a bunch of analysis was that those people are actually pretty risk averse. You would expect them to all be the, like, just, you know, put their fates to the wind, the fates be darned, I know my idea is going to work no matter what. But that's not actually true of their personality profiles. One thing that is common is that they have a lot of ideas, and most of their ideas are bad. The only difference between them and others is that they try out a lot more ideas, so their chances statistically of having an idea that turns out to be groundbreaking idea, it's just more likely to happen. They are also notoriously bad, it turns out, at predicting which of their innovative ideas are going to be the ones that take off, that stick. I can't remember if he was using this just as a hypothetical example or a real reported in history thing, but he mentioned, was it Beethoven or Bach, one of the classical composers. For the most part, the classical composers that are well known have simply made the most output, and so their ratio of amazing stuff to average stuff is not much higher than most other composers, contemporary composers, but because they made so much more stuff, they ended up with more groundbreaking genius stuff. But when asked which of the ones they thought were going to be big, I think this was an anecdote in history. The ones they said to peers, "Oh, this is going to be my next big hit," turned out not to be. Ambiguity is a fun word, I agree. It would be more fun if my head wasn't progressively getting stuffier and stuffier by the minute. Man, I got my cold Friday night. Woke up with it pretty bad on a Saturday, not last weekend, but the weekend before, and I was like, yes, that is so lucky. I don't have to miss any work. Just like rest over the weekend. Everything's great. Looks like I may not be dodging that bullet twice. Although maybe it's good because I'm supposed to be at PAX on Saturday helping people ride the Guild Wars 2 Griffin and take pictures of them on said Griffin. We have a big ol', like, I don't know, it's 20 feet long or something, sculpture of one of the mounts in Guild Wars 2 that you can ride. Get your picture taken on. And so they need people like me to staff the area and make people sign waivers and then tell them, hey, don't like jump up and down on the tail or swing on the wings, you dummy. Just sit on that spot there that's made to be sat on. Yeah. I mean, it's a real sculpture. It's not a real griffin, in case you were confused.
I thought it was real.
No. Sadly, our genetic engineering capabilities at ArenaNet are not that great. Can I bring the Griffin to your place? I could ask, but I want to say they had to spend like $50,000 to get it made, so I doubt it. It's probably not that. I don't remember the actual number. When they said it, I was like, oh man, I wish I could have made it for you and made all that money. But then I think, well, actually, if I did it alone, it would probably take me 8 years and it would end up costing me $100,000 in supplies. You should just come to PAX this weekend, Aletha. It's so simple. Just a couple $100 for tickets.
Ride with Frank and Eli. Oh yeah, first get the tickets.
Yeah, you'll have to scalp the tickets, which is definitely going to run in the hundreds. Yeah, I keep trying to entice you to quit your job, and I really shouldn't do that, because you quit your job and my life actually probably becomes harder. And there's a lot of riverbank to do. Oh, that's a little dock there. Need to be careful not to destroy that with rocks. Yeah, that'll be nice when you're moved into the new place. I'll be sure to whip Shane and tell him to work faster to get that done. Did you know he's helping build the house? Bro's going to be on my stream Sunday. Yes, I'm doing PAX on Saturday. For anyone who's watching the stream and might be at PAX, you can come say hi. I'm going to be at the Guild Wars 2 booth Saturday morning. Is that the... what is that date? That's going to be... oh, that's going to be September 1st, 2018. Right? That's what year we're at? Yeah. From 10 a.m. till 2, I believe. If you let me know that you watch the stream, I'll give you a bonus quality, extra quality photography. Because the way it works is we put them up on the mount, we take their camera and take a picture of them on the mount, and then usually give them the camera back and encourage them to post the picture on social media. Well, that reminds me, there was another thing I wanted to talk about. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. Here is my list of potential names. New names for Breath of Life. What? I decided, because there were so many words, or so many potential words, to just limit it to D words, so that you got B-O-L-D, which, if I'm doing my English correctly, spells bold. So, of course, Breath of Life design is already taken. I thought about maybe adding something after design, like Design Studio, or Design Magic. I don't know. Design something, and then I could probably do that. But I wanted to look at the other options first. So okay, so here's what I'm gonna do, and you guys basically tell me if you disagree with any of these decisions that I'm making. This should be interesting. So I'm going to put an X in front of each one based on different criteria, and then the one that has the most X's, those ones can rise to the top. So the first, I'll do the easiest one first. Is this a word that most people can spell? So if they just hear, oh, go to breathoflifeblank.com, they can enter it in. Can I make it bigger? Let's see. Text side. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I'd say decree. Most people know how to spell that. That gets an X. Definitive. This is the rubric I'm using. Would I know how to spell it without spell check easily, without thinking about it? So that does not get one. Deluxe, sure. Destiny, sure. Discoveries, sure. Dynamic, yeah. Dynamics. Development. Dreamscape, pretty straightforward. Dream Lab. Dream Forge. Dreamatorium, no one's gonna know how to spell that. Dimensions, yeah. Disciplines, actually, I'll bet a lot of people won't know about the C. Remember, we're dealing with people who have grown up with spell check and probably are as bad at me as spelling, or worse. Delights, yeah, most people know how to spell that. Domain, directive, dramatics, drama, depictions, direction, dimensions. Did I already have that one? No. Definitive, probably distinctives. Darkwing the Angel, hello. Help us pick out a new name for my business. It's Breath of Life, and then what? Right now it's Art Studio, which is fine. It's not as broad as I want it to be because we're going to be making movies and video games and music, and so I don't want it to just be, you know, novels. I want it to be broader than that. And design is already taken. What's the other obvious one? That's all the obvious ones are already taken. And so I wanted to go with a D word, so it could be Breath of Life, B-O-L, and then D for bold. Dauntless. I wouldn't say that's an auto spell. Declaration, sure. Defender, sure. Right now I'm putting an X on all the ones that I can spell, that I think anyone could spell easily. Defiant, maybe not. Okay. Next rubric would be, is it broad enough to encompass movies, novels, video games, music, sculpting, podcasts, etc., etc. Disciplines sounds serious. Yeah, it does. Okay, decree. Is that broad? I mean, okay, I'm just going to focus on one thing at a time. Is decree broad enough? Yes, because it doesn't mean anything about art as far as I know. Definitive. Sure. Deluxe? Sure. Destiny? Sure. Discoveries? Sure. I'm just focusing on, does it limit what people think it could be? Dynamics? Sure. Development? Yes. Dreamscape? Sure. Dream Lab? Dream Forge? Dreamatorium? I don't know why I even kept some of these on, just for kicks. I know why, because sometimes when you sit on things and think on things for a while, something will hit you out of the blue and you're like, oh, actually. So, dimensions, sure. Disciplines, sure. Delights, sure. Domain, that one's hard because to me domain is all about web hosting domains. I'm trying to think of it in the broader picture. A domain is like area of land that is owned by a kingdom or something, or it's a field of expertise that a person has. I'm on the fence about that, but I'll put it there. Directive, sure. Dramatics. Art, music, books, video games. Are these all dramatics? Yeah. Drama? No. I think drama is pretty specific about what it implies. Depictions. So there's going to be a lot of audio stuff like podcasts and music and who knows what else. Directive makes you think of Wall-E. Yeah. Depictions. I'm on the fence. I'll give it one. Just I don't think it necessarily limits. Direction, sure. Dimensions, sure. Definitive, sure. Oh, okay, I'm almost sure I have definitive in here twice now. Yes, I do. Distinctives, sure. Dauntless, sure. Declaration, yeah. Defender, yeah. Defiant, yeah. Okay. I have dimensions in there twice too. Dimensions here. Oh, there it is. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Next. Okay, so we've got easy to spell. Actually, let me write these down. X4. Easy to spell. Oh, come on. Formatting. Don't be dumb. Okay. Easy to spell. Encompasses all output. Okay. Dream Studio, eh? Okay. I know I have Dream on here somewhere. Just add this. Let's see. Is not misleading. Although I think I think I automatically took all the ones that I thought would be totally misleading. Drama is probably. In fact, I'm gonna get rid of drama. You don't need to consider that one again. Danger Girl Luck 1 says, I think I like discoveries the most, or depictions. Yeah, those are in the top like 20% for me. Another thing I want to make sure is that they they feel, do I want to say feel arty? Not necessarily. I want them to feel dynamic or bold or positive. What is the word I'm looking for? Dynamical. Okay, so dynamical means to me arty, bold, creative, etc. Dawson Creek? No.
You want it to be a D? Or I forgot.
Yeah. Well, okay. We'll just go through and do this one.
Dialogue.
So. Yeah, I believe I have declarations on here. I have declaration. Any of these you could consider with an S. Okay, so dynamical, already bold, creative, etc. Decree.
Developments, like plural. You have development, but it would be like developments, like, because that's what you're developing a lot of things.
Sure. I mean, any of these you could put an S on them, except for deluxes. That doesn't work too well.
Deluxei.
Okay, decree. I mean, it's already like a brand of clothing, I feel like, but it does feel bold to me. I'm gonna give that a pass. Deluxe, already bold, creative, dynamic.
Dreamers.
I have lots of deep dreams. We'll get to that. Deluxe. Sure. Destiny. It's hard for me to break away from all the associations with the video game called Destiny. But I mean, that's not going to be around forever. And my company will be, of course. It's just that simple. Letha says, I also like Discoveries and Dream Studio best so far, and maybe Dimensions, just because it's a fun word. I'm going to pass on Destiny. Discoveries, it's interesting. Dynamic. I mean, already bold, creative, sure. Dynamics. I'm going to get rid of all the ones that are the same thing but with an S. Could consider the S's later. Development. Is that already bold or creative? Not really. I feel like it still has some dynamic quality to it in that, like, when things develop, that is inherently interesting. I think maybe that's, I think it gets my X for that. Dreamscape. Yeah. Dream Lab. Yep. Dream Studio. Dream Forge. Dreamatorium. Dimensions. Sure. Disciplines. It's got the bold. I don't feel like it has. I think it's got too much baggage of, like, military or martial arts or trainee. I don't know. It doesn't get that for me. Delights. Okay. Domain. No, it's just too computery sounding to me. Directive. I feel like that also suffers from the same thing as discipline. Dramatics. I like it. Depictions. Yeah. Direction. Without specifying the direction, it doesn't feel that way to me. Definitive. Bold, arty, creative, definitive. Yeah. Distinctives. Yeah. Dauntless. Yeah. Declaration. I'm putting that in the same category as directive and discipline. Same with defender. Defiant. Yeah, it's bold, but I don't know. Without specifying what is being defied, it's just too meaningless to me. Danger Girl Lurk is voting for developments, I think. Leela Rose Foreman says, not Dreamatorium, too close to Crematorium. That's fair. It's also directly from, I think it's what Troy and Abed have in Community. They make like a holodeck for themselves. They have a room that it's just black with yellow tape grid on it, and I believe that's their Dreamatorium. Okay, so does not evoke other brands. Okay, so this is brand specific, not industry specific. So if it evokes housing developments, for instance, that's not a brand. Okay, so this is my problem with several of these. So for instance, Decree, that's a clothing brand. Deluxe, and that's lots of brands. Destiny, that's lots of brands. Discoveries, there's Star Trek Discovery, but I don't think that hinders it. Dynamic, there's Boston Dynamics. There's probably a lot of dynamics out there, so I'm gonna give that a pass. Developments, I can't think of another company that is, or product that calls itself Developments. Dreamscape, that's a movie. That's too many other things. Dream Lab, haven't heard of it. I'd have to do more research, but I'm going to give it a pass. Dream Studio, pass. Dream Forge, I'm almost sure that's something else already. Dreamatorium, Troy and Abed already have it. Dimensions. Dream Lab isn't bad. Boldle. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the 2-word additions. Even though I already had Art Studio, I'd rather be simpler than that. Dimensions. There's something I know that's Dimensions. I can't think of it off the bat though, so I'm allowed to subtract X's later if I learn something new. Disciplines, a lot of other things are whatever disciplines. Delights, definitely heard of that. Domain, heard of that. Directive, don't think I've heard of that. Dramatics, have not heard of that. Depictions, haven't heard of that. Direction, guess I haven't heard of that. Definitive, lots of definitives out there. Distinctives, doesn't sound familiar. Dauntless, doesn't sound familiar. Declaration, that's a clothing brand. Defender, it was Windows Defender. Defiant, it's a spaceship on Deep Space Nine. Other than that, I can't think of another one. Okay. Does not evoke other brands. Okay. Next one is does not evoke inappropriate industry. So just because it does not evoke the arty kind of stuff, the story stuff that I'm doing, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about, does it make you think of a juicer machine or a workout routine or something? Does not evoke derision. That's another good one I should add to the list. Oh, and for some reason it got tiny. Why? Formatting. Why can't anything just format the way you think it will? This is in the middle of a list with all of these. Why would it change that? Can I copy paste it? And then go up here. Okay, does not evoke derision. I want it to say evokes my company platitude, but it's not a platitude because it's real. Well, platitudes can be real. For some reason, the word platitude, it comes with a lot of baggage right now. What is the word I'm looking for? My company statement, my statement of intent, whatever that is. I'm just gonna put it here. Make the world more loving with story. Okay. It gets a bonus point if it does that. It doesn't have to do that, it just gets a bonus point for it. Okay. Where were we? We were on does not evoke other brands. We did that. Does not evoke derision. Okay. I don't think Decree does. I don't think Deluxe does. I think Destiny might. Destiny the game, Destiny's Child. I don't know. I feel like it might. Discoveries. Nah. Dynamic. No. Developments. Don't think so. Dreamscape would get a little. Dreamlab. I think all the D's lose out, or all the dreams lose out on this for that. I think people make fun of dreams quite easily. Dimensions. Nah. Disciplines probably would. Delights. It's a little whimsical, so it might. Domain. I don't think anyone would make fun of it. Directive. Nah. Dramatics. Maybe, but I'm going to give it a pass just because I like dramatics so much. Depictions, no. Direction, no. Definitive. No. Distinctives, no. Dauntless. Declaration. Defender. Yeah, probably. Defiant. Alright. Next one. Evokes. Make the world more loving with story. That's a decree of sorts. I think that works with it. Deluxe, I don't think does. Destiny, I'd say does. Like, it's my destiny to do this thing. Stepping out in faith with that idea. Discoveries. We're discovering ways to make the world more loving with stories. Sure. Dynamic. Yeah. Developments. Maybe evoke is not the right word I'm looking for. Maybe reinforces. Let's say that. Like if I told you, hey, the point of my company is to make the world more loving with stories, and the name of my company is Breath of Life, D word, you would not be like, that doesn't fit. Right, that's what I'm going for here. So reinforces that. So I think developments does. I can't remember if I gave it an X or not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm on number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did it? Oh, I think it missed an X for not being arty, bold, and creative. Dreamscape. Okay, so all these dream ones probably work fine for that. It's a dream that I have. Sure. Dreamatorium is just too silly. I'm sorry. Dimensions. No diggity? No, sorry, no diggity. Also, no drop that booty, which was someone else's. Breath of Life depictions is pretty good. Depictions of something don't have to be visual in nature. That's true. Danger Girl says desires. Do I have desires? I don't like it. Thanks for the suggestion, though. Delivery? No. Desires, like, reminds me of a different industry. Like lingerie. Yeah, I think that's probably what I'm thinking, too. I mean, I worked at a video game company called Outrage Entertainment, and we got calls on a regular basis asking about our strippers. And it's, yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, disciplines. Yeah, I think that suffers for the same reason. Delights. Yeah. Domain. Yeah. Directive. Yeah, I have a directive to do this thing. I want to make the world more loving. Dramatics. Sure. Depictions. Reinforces make the world more loving. Yeah, we're depicting in stories what we want to do. Direction. Yeah. Definitive. That's neither a yes nor a no. Distinctives. I'm just a little allergic to that one. Dauntless. Yeah. Declaration, definitely. That one. Defender. Make the world more loving with stories. Defender. No, it's not a defensive thing. It's very much a proactive offensive thing. I'm trying to gain ground in culture. I'm not defending a little patch of my subculture. Defiant. That just doesn't resonate with that for me. Okay. Does not evoke inappropriate industry. Such as strippers. Okay, decree. When you hear a company called Decree, what is your first thought? What is that company? What is this goods or service it produces? I think it's pretty open, so I don't think it evokes the wrong industry. Deluxe, that could be anything. Destiny could be anything. Discoveries, I would think of maybe science and tech. I wouldn't necessarily think story development. AJ Bucky says, I get law and bossy from decree. Okay.
I don't think it.
It's definitely not my favorite,
it doesn't,
but
I don't think it means anything. Like it wouldn't make me think anything what you're saying.
yeah.
It just sounds like, oh, I agree, and that's all I hear is like some guy like overacting,
kind of pompous,
like,
and
you know, like I agree, like some weird thing.
Dynamic. Again, I think of tech industry stuff. Developments. This one's all over the board. When I asked people what they thought on Facebook of developments, I got everything from, I got a lot of Arrested Development, which that's not an industry. It's a great show. I got housing development. That was a popular one. I got like child development. I got like puberty. Lots of people saying boobs. I got, including Little Miss Disruptor over here. I don't have disruptions on here. I don't want to be disruptions. I just disrupted myself. I think because it's so broad, I think it does not evoke an inappropriate industry in a large percentage of people. It's across the board. People get different ideas. Although maybe that still qualifies for this issue, in that, you know, 10% may think housing development, 20% may think child development, 13% might think sitcom, but you add all those together and all those people are thinking the wrong thing. Although, again, no one's going to see a billboard that says Breath of Life Developments with no context, right? They're going to see it either on the top of a book, or the back of an album cover, or the splash screen before the game starts. And game development is, I mean, obviously that's what the word evokes for me. I do game development for a living, so I think I have to not give it an X. I think too many people will think differently. That's fine. Okay, Dreamscape. Gosh, yeah, that could be almost anything. All these dream ones can probably be anything. Dimensions. That could be anything. Disciplines. You know what? Disciplines, you're dead. You're dead to me. Delights. That I feel is skirting the lines. I'm thinking either like culinary something, or again getting back to the sex trade. In fact, I'm just gonna nuke it. Domain. I think, man, I just think so much website when I think of that. Directive. Yeah, that's not any specific industry. Dramatics. I can't think of any industry that it would evoke that I wouldn't be engaged in at some level, so I'm gonna give that an X. Can I add studio, the end, or something similar to add context? Yes, I could. I'd prefer not to. It's already very long. Breath of Life is already 3 syllables, and then some of these have 3 or 4 syllables. So, although again, you know, 99% of the time it would be said, people would just say Breath of Life, right? Direction doesn't evoke anything. Definitive, no. Distinctives, no. Dauntless, no. Declaration, I can't think of anything. Defender, defiant. Okay, there's something else. What am I missing? What's another category I need to apply to these? Because I've got a lot of ties, a lot of things still tied. I think I'm safe to. I'm going to remove all the ones with 3 or less because they're never going to catch up. Actually, I could do 4 or less. Drive, drive, drive. Drive. Darkening Angel says, I honestly think it would be difficult for any of those words to address art, etc. by themselves as well. Yeah, definitely. I'm not expecting that of any of these words. I need them to not contradict what I'm trying to do, not evoke the wrong thing, be relatively simple to say and understand. And just awesome bonus points if it also matches the goal for my, my goals, my hopes, dreams, and goals. going to put this over here so you guys can see it while I work. I'm going to get rid of Deluxe. Oh, I'm never going to name my company Deluxe, sorry. Ah. Boy, this is a lot harder than I expected. Okay. Scoring them on syllables. Oh, that's a good idea. Hard to pronounce. I don't think any of these left are hard to pronounce. Let me know if you see one you think is hard to pronounce. And then I'll make fun of you for thinking it's hard to pronounce. Low syllables. I'm sure that's not the right way to spell syllables. Okay, well, Decree gets an X. Discoveries. Dynamic. Developments. Dreamscape. Oh, Dreamlab. I'm giving obviously 2 or less is what I'm doing. Dream Studio. Dreamforge. Dimensions, directive, dramatics, depictions, direction, definitive, distinctive, distinctives, dauntless, declaration, not many 2-syllable ones on here. Delve, Dynamo. Not a fan of either of those. Also, if there's another word besides bold, that's cool. B-O-L. What's another letter you can put after B-O-L to make a cool word? And no, bulge does not count. Bola. Bolt. Oh. Bolt is an interesting word. Alright, let's hear some T names then. Let's see, there's like transfigurations, testament, testimony. These are all very religious. Let's think of less religious-y ones. Torment. No. Tacoma. Pterodactyl with a T. Terrible ideas. Bolo. Yeah, not quite as big a fan of Bolo. Or you can get rid of the O in the acronym. Nah. So, what can you spell with BL besides blow? Which I definitely don't want blow. BLM, Black Lives Matter. Blood. Black. Blip. Bloop. Blop. This is gold. To Blave. You were joking with Bolo? Okay, good. But you're not joking about how great an idea Terrible Ideas is, right? Breath of Life, Terrible Ideas. Breath of Life, Transformation. I am trying to transform the culture. Breath of Life, Transformers. Breath of Life, Turf Wars. Breath of Life. Trembling. Trout Farm. Tortuga. And it turns out Facebook is way better at coming up with potential names than I am. I still feel like development. That's the one that's stuck with me the most for some reason. I love developing, you know? I love that it's a like quadruple entendre. Like you can develop emotionally, you can develop spiritually, the culture can develop, the fact that we're developing stories, we're developing games, we're developing empathy and compassion. Talents? And you like desires, huh? Yeah, I think that is just too fraught with potential misunderstandings. Diagnostics.
I might get more clicks.
That's true.
I need help. Not dialysis.
Not dialysis. How about dopamine?
Diagonality.
Diadem. Diachronic. Dinoflagellate. What happened to my map? Oh, the map. On here? No. Dabbles. Actually, someone had put that one up at some point, and I am not a fan. I don't want to be perceived as dabbling. I'm all in. You know what I mean? I want to do this thing right. Same with doodles and this is upsetting me that I lost my map. That's the mini map in game. I don't want the mini map. Do I hide it from myself like a big dummy? Must have. Link to the past map. What? How? Come on, where's the thing to only look at large ones? Oh, I need to go to images first. Is that it? There we go. Oh my gosh, you guys. Alright, this will have to do. Tabbies? Gonna have to do a hard pass on that one. If there wasn't any letter requirements, I would say Breath of Life Creations. That was one of my originals, but it is taken by another company. Breath of Life is a popular name. But most of the Breath of Lifes out there are pretty small and unknown, so it doesn't bother me that it's popular. I will be the one to make it the household name, you know. And by I, of course, I mean me and my collaborators. Such as Rose Foreman, who's going to be on the stream Sunday, September 2nd. Tune in and talk to my co-author about all the cool stories we are developing, because we are developers. It'll be great.
Okay. Dance Stars.
Dance Stars? Breath of Life Dance Stars. I think that doesn't fit my criteria, sadly. Tower Turbo Tint. Breath of Life Tower. Breath of Life Turbo. Breath of Life tent. No, no, no. Taxes. Team. That at least gets close to evoking the fact that I'm all about collaboration. I thought about Breath of Life collaborations. It's so long, and anyone who's as dumb or dumber than me will not be able to spell it. And it takes a long time to say. Even though that is definitely one of our cultural pillars that is super important to the brand. If not the most important. Nah, second most. Most important is that we make stories that, with the goal of people coming away with more compassion, empathy, love, just being better people. That's the biggest picture goal. And we do that together because no one person will be able to do that right. Tinsel, tech, transformations. Breath of Life team. Bolt. I really like Bold more than I like Bolt, I think. Bolt is fun and fluid and fast. But those are things that I care much less about than about being bold with what we're trying to accomplish. Aletha votes for developments or discoveries. Development works for so many things, but then, man, it fails the test for evoking what I want. Well, it fails the test for unprimed evoking. But, like I said, that's not my primary concern. I'm not worried about people reading the name in a vacuum and not knowing what it is. That probably shouldn't even be a consideration. It's a problem if they read the name and, you know, they see it before a movie and they think that it's a yoga studio. Which I'm already in danger of with the Breath of Life part, because the Breath of Life Productions, or no, Breath of Life Studio is a yoga studio and voice coaching company. Drive is okay and fits, but I'm not sure it rolls off the tongue well saying it out loud. Darkwing Angel says Drive reminds me of cloud drives. Yeah, being driven and drive are two different things. Danger Girl says, I definitely like discoveries or depictions the most. Okay. I definitely don't hate either of those. Depictions is interesting to me. It's not a word you come across often. Which is in no way a knock against it. And it's probably a word that enough people, I mean, everyone has heard the word depictions at some point in their life, probably. Just maybe my problem with is it seems very kind of matter of fact. It's just like, well, this is what we do. We make depictions, as opposed to being a more proactive, like, we are doing this thing, which is exactly what I just claimed it doesn't do. So, Can't put my finger on it. Darkwing says, development without the S, I think, is better than with the S. I think you might be right about that.
Is that my idea? Huh?
No, it was not your idea.
Oh, okay.
But you could take the credit if you want.
No, I mean put the S there. It's like, ding. Well, I put my idea somewhere else. When I was walking, I walked by this place, and I saw this in my head, and a stupid slogan. So it's topsoils, and then I saw, like, bark, and I was like, Pacific topsoils, our bark is worse than our bite.
Shouldn't it be better then? I mean, well, I know the saying is bark is worse than their bite, but...
I know, but I want it better, doesn't...
I mean, it would be a better advertisement for them.
Well, I know it's worse, but... in a good way. Because if you start saying better, then it's like...
I would get it that it's obvious turn of phrase.
I almost said louder than our bite. But then I could cross out the worst, like an actual red mark, and say.
You could.
But do it in, should I cross out, do a little cross with like a red line, and then better in white to keep with it. So it's easy.
Yeah. In a different font. Uh-oh. Man, I'm gonna be so upset if I'm getting sick. So upset. I have too much to do, you guys. I'm staying up late editing the novel. I'm working like crazy at work. I've got big plans for this weekend. Danger Girl says, depictions is art related. I think the breath of life part helps with the rigidness of depictions. It's balanced. That's interesting. Think of them as balanced. Breath of life, depictions. Breath of life, depictions. So it's like a three syllable thing. Is that what you mean by balanced? Or do you mean conceptually balanced? Oh no. Oh, my house is turned brown? No. How slash why would that happen? Oh my gosh. Okay, I have another version of this, an older version that maybe has them correct. Let's go to that, shall we? Why does ZBrush do random things? Conceptually balanced. So I guess it's both conceptually balanced and syllabically balanced. Deck, dance, danger, dandelion, dare, danger noodles. I do like danger noodles. Defiant danger noodles. Deadly daring defiant danger noodles. Okay. Let's go to this guy. Oh, weird. Okay, let's load up this guy. See, are the houses borked in there? No, the houses are not borked in there. Okay, so if I take these guys, I can split. I can just delete everything else. Delete. Trees, delete. Okay. Those are the houses. I'll keep those. Delete these. Okay. Okay, now I just have the houses. Save this as houses. That's good.
But not that great.
No, it's that great now. Okay, so we'll go back to here. Append the colorful houses, hooray! And then delete the awful brown houses. Yay! We're saved. The chiropractor makes you balanced, huh, Letha? I'm glad. Alright, it's 10 o'clock. I still need to eat and take a shower and edit more chapters of The Scarred King 1. It's so good. Mom, I don't know. I was thinking about this so hard last night. I was reading the chapter where, spoiler alert, all 7 of you who don't already know this happens, where Beaumark's mom dies, and it seriously makes me cry tears. And I don't cry tears reading sad parts in books. I don't know if it's the description of the way Father is like you described him as like, I can't remember the exact words, but it was something like howling like a beast, like an animal or something, like something about like Beaumark's perspective on it, like all the servants and stuff, and how the whatever that magical combination is. Wow, it just gets. I didn't think it would get me the third time that I read it, but it still did. I hope it works that way for other people, because that was amazing. It's amazing. Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna go edit more, add my little tweaks and nudges here and there, probably make it worse, but it will make the voice of the text more unified. The more I go in and just change little words here and there, it upsets my co-author to no end, of course. But I think the end result is better. As a result, we'll see. Aletha says it's hard to get me teary-eyed, but that is a pretty intense scene. Yeah. Yeah, anyway, okay. I'm gonna see you guys on Sunday. Sigrid, I can't wait for you to read it either. Yeah, I'll be joined by my mom / co-author, and we'll be talking more about Talifar. I'm not sure what our topic's going to be yet. If you guys have any ideas for good Talifar topics, let me know. And send me your good vibes so I don't get sick. I'd appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, I'm out. See you guys. Bye.